Hi, it's Juliet here of the Trauma Skills, Professional Trauma Skills Programme, and I'm here with Juliet. First people that signed up for this year.
Yes.
So, what caused you to do that? What?
Well, last year I've been on a self-development journey for about 15 years now, and last year I was doing a lot of work with Rachel Elnor, and I was doing a lot of work on blocks to prosperity. And the more I did the work with Rachel, the more I understood that actually trauma was one of the blocks to prosperity.
Yeah,
so
because Rachel trained with me the year before, and she already works in prosperity, and she also then got the trauma piece.
Yes.
That's part of it. So that's how it got through to you.
Yeah, so I think I watched Rachel's journey while she was on the course last year.
Yeah.
And was quite inspired by some of the stuff that she was sharing, and that inspired me to sign up too.
Because she changed a lot in that year, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Very dramatically, yeah.
Yeah, massively so, and through the course we had weekly calls with Rachel, and she was sort of sharing the things that were coming up and the things that she was learning.
I didn't know that was going.
People leaving prison, and it was tell us why so many young people go back to prison within a year, and that was my job. So with the project that I managed, I realised that the reason so many young people were going back to prison was because they'd had immense trauma as children, and they literally didn't know how to break the cycle and how to move forward with their lives. So, and I didn't know how to help them to do that either.
No, but this weekend we've been doing developmental trauma. We've been looking at developmental trauma. So, have you seen a little bit more about how those people in prison, those teenagers, got to that place?
Massively so, yeah. I mean, I can relate to it myself as well through my own experiences, but from the learning this weekend, I think with the work I've done previously, it's all been about the mind, it's been about your emotions, but what's been really interesting about this course is it's very much about your physical body, which is something I've ignored probably for a long time.
And you can't heal trauma by just talking about it and just thinking it's a mind thing or just an emotion thing. It's a physical thing.
Definitely.
And you've got that.
I have, massively so. I've had a lot of physical experiences during this course, and that's been quite profound.
So what would you say has been the difference from when you started, that first day when you came?
Do you remember that first day?
Oh my God, yeah. That was...
Well, I'm a bit of a crier, to put it bluntly. I cry quite easily at most things. I cry off the TV. I cry if I see a child fall over. Anything makes me cry.
And that's emotional flooding that you get with trauma.
So I hadn't made that connection until I came here. And you'll remember the first day. I cried all day on the first day that I was here. And I didn't really understand why. There was no memory or anything attached to that crying. I just wanted to cry. And it was nice that the space was just held for me to sit there and cry.
You felt really supported.
I did, not just by yourself and Maya, but also everybody in the group. It was just a real...
That's the power of the group, of us working together as a group,
Yeah, definitely. And so the tears, I think this is the first weekend that I haven't cried. We're in module 4. So the tears have flowed, but it almost feels like they're drying up a bit now. And I don't think that's for any other reason, that I'm not emotionally flooding myself with all sorts of stuff. Instead, I'm just putting my attention into my heart instead of my mind. And that's been quite a powerful strategy to kind of manage myself.
So we've been doing a lot of physical things and identifying somatically where you're holding trauma or what your body response is to those memories and how to regulate your nervous system.
And I've realised I hold everything in my stomach, like everything, my power, my trauma, my pain, everything sort of sits in the pit of my stomach. So with module 3, when we learnt about how to kind of penetrate that with the titration and the pendulation, that's been really helpful. And it's just, I think it's having those strategies every day, because you don't have to wait for a weekend with Juliet to kind of come and explore it. You're leaving here with strategies that you can take home, and also just recognising, actually, I feel a bit traumatised, or I feel an activation into a trauma response. What is that? Let me check in. How am I feeling? And that's kind of, you can do that in every moment. You don't need to wait for a weekend with yourself to do that. And that's what I like about this work. It's very empowering.
That's right. We aim for you to be empowered, and we aim for you to have tools to take away. So we have this space between the modules. So we learn a chunk, and we give you some tools,
Yeah.
and you go away and you practice it.
Practice.
But then you can check in
Mm.
via our structure, our support systems, and
Yeah.
so on, and say, "Help! I'm going through this."
Yeah.
And can you
And
help?
that's been, I have to say, that's been amazing, the support from yourself, because it has been difficult. There's been points this year where I've been like, what's going on? What is this that I'm feeling? This doesn't feel, or I'm feeling things I've never felt before. And sometimes that can be quite scary. You think, what is this? What's going on? And so to have that support in between sessions as well when you need it has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's meant that you've made big shifts.
Massive shifts, yeah. And I feel like now in module 4, I mean, first 3 modules I was a bit like, God, this is hard work, because it is when you putting your attention inside yourself and feeling things you've never felt before. But module 4, I'm now starting to feel like the benefits of the work are shining through. I feel better. Yeah, just generally I feel like blocks are moving. Like I said, the motivation was the prosperity course with Rachel. Well, all those blocks are just moving without me doing anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not out there, it's in here that the blocks were, and that's what I've been realising this year. So,
Yeah. Amazing. So how do you plan to take this work into your life?
Well, it's already had a profound impact on my personal life. The work, just generally, as I've explained every day, just being with myself has been powerful. But then I'm also noticing the differences in my daughter, the people around me, because it's just, it's like I'm a different person, and so people around me are changing as well. So that's the personal aspect. But in terms of the future, as you know, Juliet, I work in criminal justice and have done for about 20 years now, and I'm really interested at what will come of this in the future and how I can develop some sort of trauma-informed model or trauma-informed behaviour change is the way I'm thinking for the future, because I see so many people at work every day who literally are just feeling how I felt, albeit to a greater degree, but it's all those thoughts. We have 66,000 thoughts in a day, and so all those thoughts are racing around people's minds. But if we can find a way to actually bring people back to the body, that's what I'm quite interested in doing in the future.
So it must be very distressing for you working with people that are in that kind of degree of pain.
Definitely, and I think that's been a bit of an epiphany for me. As I said, I've done this work 20 years, and my usual response is to, I'll save you, I'll rescue you, I'll help you, but with this work, I don't want to do that anymore, and it's not been as painful. Instead, now what I've been developing is strategies that I can give to people so they feel as empowered as I do, rather than me just trying to rescue them, because that's not going to help anybody. So it's been profound.
So that you can really help them shift out of that system of vulnerability and being in prison and so on, that they can actually...
Well, I think for me, people in prison, they're in a mental prison anyway. That's how they end up being put physically into that environment. They're in a real mental prison, and they're trapped inside themselves, and there's this real energy and power and a lot of love in a lot of these people. But I think as a society, we just want to punish bad people. And they're not bad people. They're people who have been traumatised, and they don't know how to move through it.
Exactly, and they weren't bad children either. But life happened to them, and maybe their parents were really traumatised, and then they got really, really damaged, and then they got labelled in school and suffered in school, and then things started to go wrong, and then they got into...
It's like a cycle, and it just repeats over and over and over and over, and they don't know how to break out of it. And that's why we have that, as we call it, the revolving door between prison and the community. And that was where the research project that I did started, understanding why do they go back to jail. And it was like, well, trauma's the reason. But then the next question for me was, what do I do? Because, I remember a service user saying to me once, well, it's all well and good we sit here and we talk about this, but what am I going to do for a week? When my counsellor goes home, what do I do? And I didn't have the answer to that question, but I feel like from doing this course now, I do have the answer.
You've got a lot more information.
The first thing you do is breathe, and that's something that I've learned this year, is the power of breath. We literally don't breathe past our chests, but if you breathe like right down into your stomach, it just lifts your whole energy, and it helps you to feel strong.
Absolutely, and the breath is a link into the autonomic nervous system, directly into the autonomic nervous system, so that we can
Yeah.
we can just self-regulate. And
Yeah.
that's somebody was trying to come in. They're just like really eager. Come on, finish this video. We want to get going with the afternoon. It's like you're such a fantastic group. You've been really enthusiastic.
It has been a great group. I've made such good friends in this group. People that I'll take with me forever, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, there's a growing community of people who've done this training now, and hopefully as we move into the advanced training, that we're building a movement that can really significantly change the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
my vision is that we are taking people with trauma skills as into the different, as consultancy into the different sectors in society, because we so badly need it, as you said, in
justice.
we need it in justice, we need it in the medical world, we need it in the educational world, the social, social workers and so on.
And you know what's been powerful for me is that actually we don't just need it for service users, we need it for the staff, because it's quite traumatising when you're day in, day out dealing with people that have had such difficult experiences, and you're trying to cope with your own difficult experiences. We all have bereavements, you know, issues as children, all sorts of stuff that happens to us in life. Like you say, life happens, and when you're then paid to do a job and you've got to do this job to a good standard, but how do you keep yourself resourced and calm? And
exactly, and when you're seeing that suffering, because of the link with the nervous system, that we get traumatized by witnessing other people's suffering, so that we very rapidly get burnt out. So it's very important for staff, for policemen, for firemen, for doctors and nurses and prison officers, probationary officers and so on, to actually understand how trauma can be affecting their bodies and how to actually take care of themselves in this process. This is really, really vital information. Yeah. So I was so excited when you came on the train, and yes,
brought 2 colleagues with me.
So there's 3 of you, isn't there? 3 from
So Sam, one of the other participants on the course, Sam was my evaluator when I did the trauma work in 2014. So when I said I was coming to do a deeper level of trauma work, Sam decided to join me as well, and another colleague who's come on the course as well. So it's been great having that support as well when we're back up north, having those guys to lean on as well. So it's been brilliant.
It's amazing. Yeah. We're making a breakthrough.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Personal breakthroughs, and then hopefully
planetary social social breakthroughs. Get it correct. I hope I could talk clearly for this afternoon. I'm not going to into. So, do you think we should just say goodbye and start the afternoon?
Well, thanks for listening or watching, if you are listening and watching. And thank you, Juliet, because it's just profound, and the work that you do is so important. And if anybody is watching or listening, I can't advocate enough how important this work is and how profound it is. I think you've got a day on next week, haven't you? Taster Day.
Yeah, the intro day.
And I've recommended that to a number of my friends and colleagues, and anybody who's listening on my friends list, I would highly recommend that you come and spend a day with Juliet and even just feel out the work that she does before you make that decision to take it forward. But it's absolutely amazing. So thanks for listening. So
it's intro day next Saturday, the 6th of October, and just email me. My email address will be below, info@healing-waters.co.uk. And I will welcome you, and we may have pumpkin. We had pumpkin today for lunch.
We did, and the food is amazing. Even just come for the food, because it's absolutely amazing. Juliet makes it all by hand, and just in front of us there's some wonderful gardens where